Okay, this is a photograph of my car. It's a Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, which I made a little video about a while ago, talking about the battery degradation problem in the PHEV. Andy from Unplugged EV and Gary from UnfrequentedWorld are probably the two experts on the subject. So if you want to understand more about what the problem is with the PHEV battery, then check out their channels. Definitely, I'll stick some links in below. But basically what happens is that the 12 kilowatt battery in the Outlander is degraded too rapidly by about 0.1 amp hours every few weeks sometimes, or even quicker. Now in my case, I had degradation of the battery since I bought the car, which is around about late November 2018. I didn't actually start recording data about it until December 2018. And between December and now, I'd lost about 6% capacity in the battery, which is a lot, a hell of a lot. So I started looking at this on a regular basis, and I was watching Andy Unplugged EV's videos in particular, and also Gary's, and learning more and more about what the issue is. So eventually I started contacting Mitsubishi about this, and I first of all went to the dealer that I bought the car from, and they said, nah, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, they would do, wouldn't they? So I left it a bit longer because that was fairly early days when just after I bought the car, well, say a month or two. So I decided to give it the benefit of the doubt and carried on monitoring it using the PHEV Watchdog app, and I'll show you that in a bit more in a minute, but you'll have seen that in the last video as well. But basically that app, using a Bluetooth dongle into the OBD2 port of the car, allows you to read the data of the car, which includes the state of health of the battery and the state of charge. And it was degrading and degrading and degrading. Not as fast as some, but fast enough. I mean, we were talking about a car that had done 6,000 miles when I thought 6,500 miles, and it was, you know, in 5 months, 5-6 months, it degraded 6%, which is just mental. No point in having an electric car if the batteries are going to degrade that fast. It's just ridiculous. So I then contacted Mitsubishi, and again, I didn't bother going back to the dealer, because actually the dealer, and this is a big problem, this isn't just the UK where I'm from, it seems to be pretty much universal around the world. Mitsubishi dealers don't know much about the PHEV. They don't know much about the batteries. They're petrol and diesel men, aren't they? And ladies, of course. And they don't get it. They don't understand it. I went in there originally with my dealer with all the data showing the degradation, showing the drop in amperage, showing the drop in the state of health, and so on and so forth. All the data was there. It was quite clear. No, nothing to argue really. So yeah, I therefore decided to go directly to Mitsubishi UK, and after many emails, and they eventually said, right, take the car into the dealer, which I did. For the idea of downloading the data, they had to tell the dealer what to do, from what I understand, because the dealer hadn't got a clue. Right, sorry about that slight interruption, because my lovely missus bought me in a cup of tea, and in the UK everything stops for tea, everything, and a vape. So excuse me if you see smoke. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yes, so the car was taken into Mitsubishi. They downloaded data from the battery. They then sent the data to Mitsubishi UK, and I heard nothing for a long time, and I had to rattle their cage quite a bit. And eventually said, yeah, sorry, we were analysing the data and deciding what to do. Okay, fair enough. And they said, right, what we're going to do is we're going to book you back into the dealer, and we're going to give them a procedure to follow. And one of the things I was trying to find out is exactly what that procedure was. What is it that they were going to do? And okay, fair enough. Let's get the car in there, which I did actually today, and no, yesterday. Sorry, and I picked it up today, so I can tell you what the outcome of it is. And it's obviously, well, basically what they did is that they drained the battery, and what they told me they did is that they drained the battery to a certain level, then they drive the car and absolutely drain it. Now, the battery doesn't, or this car doesn't allow you to go much below 30 or 25%, and then the engine will kick in. So how they actually drain it completely, I don't know. Any rate, they do that, and then overnight they charge it up with whatever process that they use, because clearly it doesn't need overnight. Well, it does. There's about 5 hours I can fully charge it from flat, but I suspect there's some balancing and other stuff going on that they undertake. So what's the actual outcome? Well, I'm going to show you what the position was when the car, or before the car was taken in, and you can see here that the state of health was just 90%. Now at this point, this is actually a screenshot that I took before the procedure was done, just before the procedure was done. And at that point, the capacity was only 90%, 34.2 amp hours. The true capacity of the battery is 40 amp hours. We know that to be the case, but Mitsubishi, for some very bizarre reasons, which again, if you watch Andy's videos, you'll find out, they actually cap it at 38 amp hours. Oh yes, it's just silly, but there you go. So you can see it's down quite a bit, and bear in mind that car's only done 6,500 miles. Losing 10% in that period of time is stupid, and that's why I pursued it. So what was the result? So let me have a look at the screenshot that I took today when I picked the car up, and I will find that for you. And here it is. Here are the numbers. There we go. It is now up to 102.4%, 38.9 amp hours. So it's only 1.1 amp hours away from its actual true maximum. And this is the percentage charge in ampere hours that it was showing when I picked the car up. And you can see down here the dog is showing a new capacity of 38.9 amp hours plus 4.7 amp hours. So the procedure they've done has got me back 4.7 amp hours. Now, the people that I was dealing with, my dealer, the service manager, I think the guy just saw me as a complete irritant. When I was originally asking about this, you know, no, there's no problem, we don't know anything about batteries, go away. Of course I didn't go away, because you spend an awful lot of money on these vehicles, and you expect decent service, bearing in mind the amount of money you're spending. And I will not be fobbed off. I will pursue it, and I did, and this is where I am today. So clearly we have got a major improvement, which frankly, not being funny, but it bloody showed him, didn't it? Because I said to him when I picked it up this morning, I want to know before I go what the state of health was of the battery. And I knew I could work it out myself. Well, I didn't have to work it out. I knew I could get it myself through the Watchdog app. But I wanted him to tell me, because he hadn't got a ruddy clue. He was going after some guy in the background who was actually doing the work, but he just really wasn't interested. And I made sure he came back with the correct figure. Now, the interesting thing is, I say interesting, but the important thing is that if you are users of the PHEV Watchdog app, and I've heard people talk about this app calculating itself these numbers, it doesn't. These numbers come from the car. It's just the app is a conduit to actually let you see the numbers that the car itself is showing. So it's the car that's giving these figures. And he actually came out with a piece of paper, knew that he was dealing with a belligerent so-and-so like myself, and he had a piece of paper showing two figures. He says, that was the original state of health, and the new state of health was the 38.9 that I just showed you. That was from their computer. In other words, exactly the same figures that the watchdog shows. So that just confirmed it for me, although I always knew it, but absolute black and white evidence that the watchdog is showing the data on the car. So if anybody says to you, particularly a dealer, that don't trust these apps or anything like that, that's a lot of crap. This app is showing you what the car thinks the state of health of the battery is. So, success. You know, we are now at 38.9 amp hours, 0.9 above what the normal spec is. We're over 100% capacity. Of course, the real question is this: how long is that going to last? Am I going to start getting this crap? Let me show you. I'm actually going to open the app itself. The other two screens you saw, they were actually screenshots. This is the actual app, and you see it's still, when I got home today, it's still got the original capacity. I've only done a few miles, oops, since I picked it up. Sorry, I shook you about there. So let's have a look at the battery condition history, and we go right back to when I first, or about a month after I got the car, I guess, and it's actually Christmas Day. I don't even remember using this Christmas Day, but I must have done. But you can see then it was 96.1%. So when I first bought the car, bearing in mind it only had 600 miles on it, but it was a year old. And the reason it was such low mileage for that period of time is that Mitsubishi used that particular car as a display model at shows and events or whatever. So it was a year old, but it had never been used. So it only done 600 miles, and yet it was only showing, oh, you can see there, 1,768 miles by the time I started using the Watchdog app, and it was at 96.1%. And, you know, there you can see it's steadily going, 95.8%, 95.5. It's a typical 0.1 amp hour drop. You can see from 36.2 to 36.1 to 36, and then there's a big drop here, 0.5 amp hours, which happens a couple of times. Most of the time it's 0.1, but every now and again it does some sort of balancing or check on itself, and it says, oh, I need to do a big drop because I have to assume the degradation is bigger than it actually is, and so on and so forth. We'll probably see another big drop a little bit further on down the line. Anyway, you get the idea. All these drops, drop, and then we have today, where we are now post the work that they did, and it's gone from 90% to 102.4%, or 34.2 amp hours to 38.9 amp hours. But you can see all this steady degradation that happened previously. The concern now is it going to carry on degrading at that same rate? Or is it now going to degrade at a reasonable rate, at a rate that one could expect of a lithium-ion battery to drop? There's a very simple principle here. If your iPhone battery or your Samsung mobile phone battery dropped that quickly in a matter of a few months, you take it back to the shop and you would get it fixed. It's as simple as that. And I don't think the shop would argue. They'd stick a new battery in or something. It's no different here. No different at all. The difference is that the average person knows the state of their mobile phone battery because they have got a device that shows them what that state is. In an electric car, you don't get that. Yes, you get an image which shows you what the state of charge is, because you need to know how much range you've got if you're going out on a trip. But people won't generally keep an eye on the state of health. Are they, yes, it will show you 100% charged, but that's going to be 100% of whatever the capacity of the battery is at that time. And if that capacity is dropping, then your range is also dropping, and that's going to cost you, certainly in the terms of the PHEV, for example, it means your petrol engine is going to kick in more frequently, and that means you're going to be spending more money on petrol, which defeats the whole object of the car in the first place. So your overall miles per gallon starts to fall. You expect it to fall because it is a battery, and batteries degrade over time, but they don't degrade this fast. Not unless it's a shite battery. And I do not believe that all these PHEVs around the world that are having the same sort of problem have got crap batteries in there. I think it's the software that controls it. Something I agree with Andy on, of Unplugged EV. I think he's absolutely spot on with that. From the research that he's done, it can't be that over the last 5 years that PHEV's been in existence, 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, that they have consistently used the same battery, knowing that they're rubbish. I just don't believe that. Now, this is a software thing. So if you can imagine that eventually, and in the UK, by 2040, all cars, certainly all new cars, have to be 100% electric. In countries like, I think, Norway, it has to be by 2025. The reality is going to be is people realise this is coming. They're actually going to be buying electric cars well before then. But they'll suddenly start realising the importance of understanding the condition of the battery in the same way as they want to understand the condition of their current cars, be it a petrol engine, a diesel engine, the MPG, and how much it's costing them to run it. And if they've got batteries that are degrading, that means they're going to have to charge more, or charge up the battery more, that is, and that's going to cost them more money. So people need to take an interest in what the condition of their, or the state of health of their EV batteries are. I certainly will be. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this for the next few months, see how quickly it starts to degrade again. And if it starts dropping like this, guess what I'm doing? I'm knocking on the door of Mitsubishi UK. Now, I have to say, let's go back. Oops, I keep on knocking that. I hope you ain't feeling sick as a result of me doing that. Let's go back to what it's all about. At the end of the day, as far as I am concerned, this is one of the finest vehicles ever built at the moment. It's fantastic. It really is a great car. And knowing what I know about the battery degradation in this car, I'd still buy one today, because the combination of petrol and EV efficiency in these cars is absolutely fantastic. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it. Apart from the fact I spent a lot of money on the bloody thing, a hell of a lot of money, and it's, you know, a major investment for me. It took me a long time to think about it and choose this vehicle. That's why I'm so passionate about this, to get it right, and to make sure that Mitsubishi get it right as well. And they also need to focus on their customer service. My God, they need to focus on customer service. If a client says they've got a problem, do not try to fob them off. I can understand why you'd want to, but it's going to work less and less and less as more people understand electric vehicles, as more people start understanding battery technology, i.e. understanding their own vehicles in a similar way they do today with petrol and diesel vehicles, then you're going to have a problem. Not you, but Mitsubishi Motors will, and any motor manufacturer of electric vehicles. They're going to have to wake up to the fact that the consumer isn't going to roll over and have their tummies tickled and be told to go away and not worry about it. So there you go. That's the situation for my car at the moment. We are at a very, very nice state of health and a very nice state of capacity. The trick is, how quickly is that going to go down again? Fingers crossed, it won't go down very quickly again, not like it has done in the past. But do you know what? I'm a little bit cynical about it, and I'm not going to count my chickens. Let's see what happens. So there you go. I hope you found that interesting. I can't stress how much I really, really enjoy this car. I've had many, many cars in my life, and this is the most incredible vehicle I've ever driven. If somebody said to me, and I actually mean this, I absolutely mean this, today, if somebody said to me, I will give you a Tesla for your PHEV, I would say no. And the main reason I would say no is that as at today, charging stations, certainly in the UK, are too infrequent, are too unreliable, and I would not trust the electric charging network in the UK. 10 years time, possibly even 5 years time, once they really get their act together, then that might be a different story. But today, no. I want to know I can pull into a petrol station and fill up within seconds and not have to, worry about finding a charger and also finding a charger that works when you get there. No, not taking that risk. No, this is the guy to go for as far as I'm concerned. It's a good bridge between petrol and electric, and then my next car, whenever that might be, good few years away now, but my next car will be 100% electric, and I'm looking forward to that day. But at the moment, I'm going to enjoy this one as long as the battery holds up. That could be another story. Anyway, I've banged on for ages here, and it's a bit boring. All you've done is looked at these phone screens, and you've probably fallen asleep now, but at least I've cured your insomnia. So with that happy thought, I'm going to say thank you very much. Pocket watches. Yes, that's another little thing that I do. I'm into trying to fix pocket watches at the moment. It's a little thing that I've always wanted to do, and so I get broken, knackered pocket watches from eBay, and I fix them, and that one's working. Anyway, that's completely and utterly off topic. So there we go. PHEV, fabulous car. Battery, software, not so much. Let's see what happens. Anyway, cheers for now, and we'll update you at a future time, no doubt. Again, my thanks to Andy and Gary for their YouTube channels and for all the work and for all the effort they've put into this. Brilliant job, both guys, and thank you for that, because I think you could end up saving this car, because at the moment it's starting to shoot itself in the foot with this particular battery degradation problem. And if Mitsubishi are watching this video, congratulations, you've made a fabulous product. Iffy battery, your customer service completely and utterly blows because you're not training your staff. And if you want to talk to a consumer, i.e. me, get in contact, and I'll very happily have a very sensible and pragmatic conversation with you. There you go. Can't open the door wider than that, can you? Okay, guys, coming up to 20 minutes. Oh no, and the rest, I think, because I probably did about 4 or 5 minutes on the first half of this video. There you go. Never mind. Thanks for watching. Catch you again soon. Cheers.